Let's get real here. Getting ready to go back to school is very stressful for a lot of people. And for families and communities of color who've been disproportionately affected by COVID, the challenges can be overwhelming for so many.
So what can be done to support them? Elmer Roldan, Executive Director for Communities in Schools of Los Angeles, joins us now to talk about this important topic. Thanks for being with us, Elmer. Can you first talk about your organization and what you have seen families go through for the last year and a half?
Yes, thank you for having me this morning. Communities and Schools of Los Angeles provide social emotional support as well as case management to 1,000 families from 13 schools across 5 different communities in LA Unified. In addition to supporting students' social emotional well-being, we distributed over $500,000 in financial support, food, and technology last year because that's where the need was for our families. We also help families get answers, connect them to social and financial services, and we made sure that they received headphones because families and children needed the support to focus while learning at home.
And thank goodness you did, because let's face it, when the state shut down our schools at first, these kids didn't have hardly anything. How would you measure the impact of remote learning over the past year on them?
Well, it is estimated that our students have lost more than 1 year of learning during the pandemic. And LAUSD faces the monumental task of academic recovery while also addressing the pandemic's mental health toll on students, resulting from the social isolation, economic hardships, family illness, and death. So we saw that many of our students face challenges connecting to the internet. Many of our homes didn't have adequate technology. And you know, some of our students, we saw that they had to wait till the parent got home from work before they could use the cell phone to connect to the internet and do homework. Siblings had to share the one device that was in the home. And so as you can imagine, technology and Wi-Fi connectivity were a challenge, and then learning virtually was also very difficult for our families.
Yeah, a lot of difficulty. Now, you've used the analogy that for many, going back to school is like dipping your feet in the pool instead of jumping in. So who's most likely to feel that level of hesitation?
80% of children attending schools in LA Unified come from low-income backgrounds. The pandemic, as you mentioned, hit our communities disproportionately hard. They are mostly Black and Latino, and many are undocumented. And they had suffered the most from COVID infections, deaths, and limited access to vaccines. So it's no surprise that there are many questions and hesitations that these families have as they picture their children going back to school as we're still experiencing the pandemic.
And so how do officials turn this around? What do you feel needs to be done to support kids in communities of color as they now head back into the classroom after this chaotic year?
Yeah, so we know that LAUSD, as I mentioned, has a monumental task of educating children while providing the additional supports that are needed. Families have a lot of questions about the type of learning that will happen, whether their children stay at home or attend school in person. But more importantly, parents want to know if their children will be safe once they set foot in school. And what we want is for families to rest assured that communities in Schools of Los Angeles and many organizations like ours are there to support them. We know that we do have an immense challenge ahead for us as it pertains to addressing the academic, social, emotional needs of children. But the good news is there is an unprecedented amount of school funding that is coming, both from the federal government as well as the state. So districts like LA Unified now have a lot more resources in their hands to make sure that children have that additional tutoring, the additional support, additional teachers on campus, as well as the other supports and resources that are needed in order for them to catch up and stay on track.
That is such important information. Elmer Roldan with Communities in Schools of Los Angeles. We want to thank you for your insights and joining us this morning. Have a good day.
Thank you.